crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy.
Hey kids, I'm Nash and I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. You know, there's one thing I think we all have in common. Every now and again, we all feel a little bit industrious. Maybe you want a faster computer, but you don't want to pay for one off the shelf. Or maybe you want to spruce up the house with some new carpet or new paint. Or maybe your neighbor plays Lady fucking Gaga into the middle of the night and you don't happen to have a grenade handy. So, in the spirit of self-reliance, you build your own PC, you head on down to Sherwin-Williams, or you fashion an explosive out of common household chemicals. In short, you do it yourself. Now, most of the time, this works out pretty well. You save yourself some cash and you get yourself a feeling of accomplishment in the process. Unfortunately, for every enterprising individual who takes the time and effort to read up on how to properly complete a task, there's just as many who try to reshingle their roof with nothing more than a rough sketch, an electric stapler, and a crudely fashioned catapult. So this week, we're looking at all the mayhem that happens when self-reliance meets self-delusion. This is the part where I elaborate with a cartoon I made all by myself. As if that wasn't readily obvious. Back in olden days, humankind had no one to rely on but themselves. If you were hungry, your choices were starvation or getting off your butt and doing something about it. But unlike other creatures, we soon learned to go about such things in more efficient and effective ways. We began to manipulate objects in such a way that we made life easier on ourselves. Though I'm sure there was some measure of trial and error. Thus began the creation and crafting of items to tame our own environment. This eventually led to the Industrial Revolution, where more and more of our everyday products were produced or repaired by the hands of others. Yet even through all that, people have attempted to retain some skills which allow them to build or maintain their own possessions. Unfortunately, instead of doing the necessary study, some would-be do-it-yourselfers have decided that 10 minutes on Google is sufficient to do anything from spackling to nuclear physics. The results are usually far less than desirable and far more than hilarious. You laugh, but that was my van. Actually, that probably made you laugh harder, so eat a dick. Well, now that we've destroyed my car insurance rates, let's move on to our first self-reliant ridiculousness. Lots of us like to make our own coffee, but the guy in this story decided the best part of waking up was 2 metric fuck tons of caffeine in his cup. From Nottingham, 23-year-old Michael Lee Bedford decided that the usual energy drinks just weren't cutting it, so he used caffeine to make his own. One that was equivalent to 70 cans of Red Bull. You'd have to drink this many energy drinks to get the same amount of caffeine as in that homemade concoction. What? I get sleepy. Don't judge me! Anyway, the drink was so powerful that Bedford actually died of an overdose, and now his grandmother is seeking to remove, quote, strong caffeine products from the market. Okay, while I normally don't report on stories where people die, this one kind of got my attention. Just because one person was a complete doofus who ignored the warning label doesn't mean everyone should pay the cost. Keep in mind, this guy used enough caffeine packets that he briefly gained the ability to see backward in time. That is clearly too much. You can't take every single potentially harmful thing out of the hands of people who would misuse them. If you could, they'd have taken Adobe Premiere away from the guys who made Skyline. Moving right along. One do-it-yourself project that nearly everyone partakes in is holiday decorations, and the man in our next story is no exception. He just did it naked. From Elyria, Ohio, 41-year-old Matthew Trachis was making preparations for Halloween, except his balls were not made of popcorn. While setting up the ghosts and ghouls, he apparently showed 2 teenage girls his little goblin and has been arrested. Oh, and did I mention he was a registered sex offender? And that he lived across the street from a Catholic school? Something tells me that after trick-or-treating at his house, checking the candy for razor blades would be the least of your worries.
Gee, I got a candy bar. Boy, I got 3 cookies. Hey, I got a package of gum. I got a rock.
And of course, it gets worse. Listen to this. A neighbor stated he is very kid-friendly, and that is weird for a single guy all by himself. I guess when you start breaking it down, it starts to look a little odd. And also from the story, investigators concede he never should have been allowed in the neighborhood. Congratulations, Elyria, Ohio! You've won this year's coveted No Shit Sherlock Award! What the fuck is wrong with you? A registered sex offender living across the street from a Catholic school. The only thing missing from this equation is a complimentary bottle of chloroform. And also, if you happen to be a registered sex offender, don't you think that possibly, probably, maybe you should put on a pair of dungarees the one day of the year children would be showing up at your doorstep? Unless, of course, you were thinking you were going to give them your own special Halloween treat, in which case I have the following advice for you. When your man sells you off to be someone else's bitch, make sure he holds out for 2 packs of cigarettes. It's good to have standards. Now, while we're on the subject of all things that induce nausea, let's move on to New York, where a man has attempted his own homemade eHarmony. Except stupid. In a case of Christian Redux, 40-year-old Malik Turner has been putting ads at payphones around the city imploring women to come and get him. The ads are bizarrely specific, seeking a, quote, blonde, long-haired, big-chested, curvy, leggy, voluptuous, not fat woman to seek his affections. Let's see, this is New York City, so if you put out an ad for someone like this, you're most likely going to be courted by someone like this. Oh, but we're not done yet. Turner lives with his mother, who upon discovering him looking for love in all the wrong places, yelled, "What did you do, Malik? What did you do?" Do I even need to ask what's wrong with this fella? Let's see. 40 years old? Check. Lives with his mom? Check. Fanny pack reading I Heart New York while living in New York City? Check-a-rooney. It's like a fail monsoon. Look, meeting people can be difficult. I know this. But that doesn't mean you should take to the streets with handwritten, insanely demanding requests for your perfect mate. You couldn't have given off a more serial killer vibe if you'd had a bottle of lotion and a poodle. Next time, leave this sort of thing to the professionals, be they the ones at Match.com or the ones in the little white coats. And speaking of medical professionals, our next story is about a man who thought he could do a job better than the experts. Unfortunately, that job was driving an ambulance. From Chicago, Jimmy McCoy got a little impatient as EMTs prepared to take his ailing relative to the hospital. So, in probably the most misguided act of self-reliance ever, McCoy took the wheel himself. Unfortunately, the police tend to frown on this sort of thing and stopped him with a blockade. Okay, I can understand he really wanted to get his relative to the hospital. I do. However, EMTs are pros. They've been trained to get things from point A to point B in a big goddamn hurry. Your average schlub is not. Let's do the math here. This plus this equals this. Oopsie doodle. There are many things you can do yourself just as well as a pro. You can fix a computer. You can bake a cake. You can repanel your walls. You cannot pilot a 4-ton mobile triage unit at breakneck speed through city streets. There's a little more to it than just go real fast. I know you've watched a whole bunch of NASCAR, but that doesn't make you qualified. And if the ambulance isn't going fast enough for your liking, why don't you just rummage through the little drug cabinet in the back until you find something to calm your ass down? But even things that should be relatively easy for anyone are made much more complicated when you throw in a heaping helping of weapons-grade stupid. From Fresno, California, we get a glimpse into home extermination made easy. And also, on fire. One of the things I love about this story from the Fresno Bee is that they didn't give anyone's name. That's how stupid this is. An unnamed individual was attempting to deal with a nest of black widows in a garage, but instead of using those wussy pesticides, the decided course was kill it with fire. And to be fair, these spiders are dead, but so is the garage. And not just any fire. Who knew? A homemade open flame torch. The only thing that combination of words can produce is shenanigans. Well, that and third-degree burns, but also shenanigans. I think we know exactly where this notion came from, don't we? Yes, it's a case of dumbass see, dumbass do. It's a movie. You can't do that shit in the real world. Now give a fuck what you saw on YouTube. Homemade torches are dangerous. Look, you can't just take a canister of contents under pressure and expose it to an open flame and expect there to be anything but Did not think that one through. Also of note here is that the fire, quote, displaced 5 adults. That means there were 5 grown people involved, and not a one of them uttered a single protest of, fire bad! Look, I know black widows are creepy. I know exterminators are expensive. But this is one of those moments you need to realize if you're the sort of person who's going to cobble together a homemade flamethrower, you're also the sort of person who should not be doing it. Not everything can be solved with fire. I can't believe I actually just said that. But really, don't let all this put you off learning things for yourself. Read a book, take a class or two, maybe you could... Come on, damn, all you do your damn day. Oh, fuck me. I'm all over Imagineer doing your damn everything. And IDF, you want it, we make it. No question here. Go away, Arlo. There I know your man. Arlo, how is it possible? No, I said, go the fuck away! Exactly. We only the precious imagination right from the brain and children to provide you with the best in home improvement. No, I said, wait, what do you do to children? Hey, may you have the best need for eating you all for everyday tools. And who had the best tools in today? The doctor. It unlocks, it bonus, it makes it ball right. But that's it. The all-new IDS on-bonnet screwdriver. That's a flathead hot glued to an electric toothbrush. Ham-handed. That little bitty was on everything. Glass. Metal. Brick. It even cleans up messy potholes and the dittiest of doors.
You're out of time. Get your ass out of there. We're not done yet. Get as far away as you can. Doesn't anyone have any missiles left? Sorry I'm late, Mr. President. Pilot, you armed? Armed and ready, sir. I'm packing.
Oh, really?
Hey there. Oh, damn. It can't work vehicles.
Fair point. Look, please piss off. I'm right in the middle
But they're not all. Every old man in bed knows there's one true key to do your bill.
It's duct tape, so what?
We've been duct tape. See, one of the problems with duct tape is eventually wears out and needs to be taped over and over. But not anymore. With a Vulcan IDS, they're fabricating duct tape. Tape it once and never again. Don't want with me, Bobby. Okay, need a little work.
Is that guy dead?
Your own power don't take the best for that. What the one thing every dedicated user ever needs but never had.
Right this moment, a ball gag.
Bye, another day of dead. But that's okay, because now you never need no foundation again. IDS presents all new for 2011, the Pocket Time Tunnel. With a best of a single button, you can get all the help you need with budget bonus deal for your project. You
Wait, what?
You need a pocket time tunnel, reaches out and yanks another version you from the vast into the bed. Now they do that to you and all your fun the project. Hello, Arlo. Hello, Arlo.
Okay, wait. No. Haven't you ever seen Time Cop? Same matter cannot occupy the same space.
What?
Okay, look, if you accidentally come into contact with one another, you could tear through the space-time continuum like Kirstie Alley tears through pantsuits.
No, don't be silly. NIDF we big as we get. He's the heaviest thing I did. Then we do it anyway.
Okay, yeah, but wait a second.
This pocket time tunnel is perfectly safe. Whoa!
Guess that's all for this week. This is Ash saying, if I have to hurt, so does everyone else.